We're diving into the trade buzz in this morning's edition of the Cowboys Report, and trust me, it's getting interesting. Specifically, we're looking at some of the NFL players, either holding out or holding in during training camp, or who were previously rumored to do so. These are the kinds of guys the Dallas Cowboys could, hypothetically, make a move for. But before we get ahead of ourselves, a quick dose of reality. I'm going to have to throw some cold water on a few of these ideas. Not every exciting name on this list makes sense financially or strategically. Still, the rumors are flying, and the what-ifs are fun to explore. Speaking of competition, we're in a bit of a race with the 49 ears when it comes to subscribers. We've already left the Giants in the dust, so a big thank you to the Cowboys faithful. But the 49 ears are still ahead of us, and we can't let that stand. So, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do head over to YouTube.com/Cowboys and hit that sub button. Let's start with the most obvious name, Jalen Ramsey. Now, technically speaking, Ramsey wasn't exactly a traditional holdout. He was excused from camp. But let's not pretend here. Everyone knows what this really is. He's going to get traded. The Dolphins have made it clear they're working on it. Honestly, I'm a bit surprised it hasn't happened already, but there are some good reasons for the delay. The question isn't whether it'll happen, it's when, and more importantly, where will Ramsey land? Look, he's not the same corner he was during his prime years in Los Angeles, or even back in Jacksonville. But make no mistake, he's still a high-level player. And when you look at the Cowboys' current cornerback depth, he'd be a serious upgrade over what we've got, especially with Trayvon Diggs recovering and Jordan Lewis's return still uncertain. Josh Butler's banged up, and as good as Eric Scott Jr. looked in minicamp, let's be real, he's not Jalen Ramsey. Ramsey's versatility would be huge too. Even as he ages, he could shift into more of a hybrid safety role, similar to what we saw with Leon Hall back in the day. But let's be honest about why this deal hasn't happened yet. It's the contract. The cap hit is manageable under $8 million, but the actual cash payout for any team trading for him is over $21 million annually for the next 3 years. That's a steep price tag for a player whose best days might be behind him. If the Cowboys were to entertain this trade, I don't think they'd have to give up a lot in terms of draft capital unless the Dolphins eat some of that salary. But again, that defeats Miami's purpose of clearing cap. Realistically, he probably goes for a fourth rounder similar to the low price Miami paid when they got him from the Rams. So if you were in charge, would you pull the trigger on a trade for Jalen Ramsey? Let me know in the comments. Type Y for yes and for no. It's the pinned comment on today's video, so let your voice be heard. Next up, another Dolphins player who's raising eyebrows, tight end Jonnu Smith. He skipped minicamp recently in what looks like a move to pressure Miami into giving him a new contract. This one's a bit odd though. Smith only signed a 2-year deal last offseason, so it's unusual for him to already be asking for more money. It makes me wonder who leaked the rumors about Pittsburgh being interested in trading for him, because that report popped up not once, but twice. Does it really make sense for the Steelers to advertise that? Maybe it was Miami trying to stir up a market. Or maybe it was Smith's agent trying to push the Dolphins to pay up. Either way, it's kind of bizarre. Smith had a really strong year in Miami, 884 receiving yards and 8 touchdowns, which is a better season than any tight end currently on the Cowboys roster. He'd definitely be an upgrade, even though we're all still hoping Jake Ferguson takes the next step. But if the Cowboys made a move for Smith, what would that mean for Fergie long-term? Would Dallas get creative and try to trade Luke Schoonmaker instead? He's younger, more affordable, and probably more appealing to Miami. Maybe you sweeten the deal with a conditional draft pick too. Still, I don't think the Cowboys will actually pursue this one. It's more of a Madden-style trade idea than something we'd see in real life. Now, while we're on the topic of upgrades, let's talk edge rushers specifically, J. Watt. You had to know his name would come up. He skipped minicamp, and we know he's looking to reset the market with his next contract. Watt's last negotiation with Pittsburgh dragged all the way to the eve of the regular season, and it looks like this one might follow a similar script. But here's where things get tricky for Dallas. It doesn't make any sense to trade for J. Watt and then turn around and pay him $40 million a year, especially with Micah Parsons' extension looming. And no trading Micah Parsons to get J. Watt isn't happening either. The smart move here is to just get ahead of the game and pay Micah before Watt resets the edge rusher market. But this is the Cowboys we're talking about. Being proactive hasn't exactly been their style. So, gets paid first. Type MP for Micah Parsons or TJ for J. Watt down in the comments. Trey Hendrickson is another name worth keeping an eye on. He's made it clear he wants a new deal or a trade. So far, the Bengals haven't given him either. ESPN reported just yesterday that the two sides have reopened negotiations, so something might be brewing there. Hendrickson has been absolutely dominant the last couple of seasons. He's not the greatest run defender in the world, but his pass rushing stats are elite. He's older than some other names, so he might not get top of the market money, maybe something in the $33 to $36 million range. But even that feels like a stretch for the Cowboys with Micah's deal coming. Maybe you convince Hendrickson to play out the season and promise not to tag him next year, but that would still require Cincinnati to trade him. That means paying a premium for a guy you don't plan to extend. Not sure Jerry Jones would bite on that one. And while we're talking about the Bengals, don't ignore the chaos surrounding first-round pick Shamar Stewart. He's in a contract dispute over void language. The Bengals want to insert something they've never done before. Stewart doesn't want to be the guinea pig and left minicamp early. Now look, there's zero chance he goes back into the draft, and zero chance they trade him, no matter how loud the rumors get. He's not going anywhere, period. And then there's James Cook. He's not holding out. He's not even holding in. But Cowboys fans keep asking about him, so let's address it. Cook showed up to Bills minicamp and even participated in some drills. When asked why he came, his answer was perfect. I like my money. Simple and honest. And relatable? Cook's still on a rookie deal, so this isn't one of those messy contract standoffs. The Bills view him as a key part of their offense, and with their Super Bowl aspirations, they're not trading him. Sure, you could revisit the idea a year from now if he hits free agency, but for now, it's just not happening. The only way Dallas would even consider something like that is if Buffalo had some freak internal fallout, which they haven't. So let's move on from that fantasy for now. Other names that came up, but don't get your hopes up for: Garrett Wilson. He showed up no holdout there. Terry McLaurin? Yeah, he's holding out, but he's in the division and Washington's not going to trade him to a rival. Elton Jenkins? He's doing a hold-in to push for more guarantees from Green Bay, but Dallas is actually pretty solid on the offensive line at the moment. You've got depth, talent, and youth, and Jenkins. Switching positions might not even fit what the Cowboys need.